what's up, everybody? Ron here, Above Board Gamer, and today's going to be an awesome day because I am chilling at my favorite local game shop, Games of Berkeley, and I'm joined by Sam, who is the events coordinator and social media marketing manager. Say hi, Sam.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm glad we found time to talk.
Absolutely. So I invited you, or I asked you to do this because I come to this shop at least once every 2 weeks, like with payday, and I throw all my money at this place, and it's a beautiful spot. It's been my favorite. I don't know if I told you this, but a long time ago, I had a game store in Napa that I opened. It lasted like a year and a half, and I just love board games, but apparently a lot of people in Napa didn't. But Berkeley is right for it.
Berkeley people love board games. We have Games of Berkeley has been in this city for 42 years. We've been in our present location for 5 years. And so we're still kind of getting settled in the area we are now, which is really close to Cal's campus. So we get a lot of student traffic, but we also get people who have been coming into the store since the 80s who still live here and still enjoy coming into the store every now and then. So yeah, people in Berkeley definitely love games.
There's a different feel. I've been to I've been to everyone in Berkeley, every game store, which I think that they've kind of gone away now. I think you're one of the last survivors, especially after the terrible pandemic.
Yeah, well, one of the last games in town.
Yes, yeah. And I've been to the place in Walnut Creek, Black Diamond Games.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to so many shops, and there's just something special about Games of Berkeley. And to me, obviously staff is important, right? So every time I come here, I feel like your staff is on point. I also find it weird you always have like 5 people working. I'm like, oh my goodness, but your place is huge. You know what the square footage is?
It's something like 10 or 11,000 square feet. I think.
I mean, that's just that's kind of like goals.
And that's in addition to about 1,500 to 2,000 square feet of gaming space as well.
Oh, of course. And how many rooms do you have?
Yeah, we have one main event room and then 3 side rooms, which are sort of private rooms, which are, they're outfit with libraries of RPG books, really nice tables. So those are good for like private events, private Dungeons and Dragons groups, things like that.
Now, is it something that you have to pay extra for? Like, is there a charge to rent the private room or to use the rooms, or is it part of events?
Yeah, so typically most of our events cost $5. That fee goes towards helping pay our tournament organizers, our event organizers, maintain the space, make improvements, and then renting the private rooms is $10 per person. But if it's on a recurring basis, we usually work out some kind of special fee.
And is there like a time limit? Because, if you're playing D&D, that could be, or Warhammer, or almost anything could be like 8 to 10 hours. Had anybody played Twilight Imperium in here?
Right. Exactly. We've got a copy in our game library too. We have over 400 games that people can try out. But no, typically when people pay to play here, it's all day unless we have something else going on.
Oh, that's amazing. That's just one of those things that, like I was saying, sets you apart. It's something that most places have, but they have it almost as like an add-on. Mm-hmm. They don't really have it as like a focal point. And I feel like when you walk in here, you really feel like this was designed for this purpose. It wasn't just, I have extra room, I'm going to throw a couple tables there. And then, this is kind of like the table we're talking at right now. This is a professional gaming table. It has the hard top that comes off, and then you have the nice little pool table.
Vinyl mat, yeah.
It's beautiful. And the tables that you have in this other room, those are just professional grade tables.
Those took a while to get here, but built them by hand, and now they're set up. We used to have sort of just picnic tables set up, but we're always trying to make improvements to our event space and kind of reinvest those event fees that people pay into the space that they play in. So
now when you first walk in, you have your brand new games that just came out. They just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like hit you right in the face. Then you have all of your sections of board games in the middle of the store, and then around the left side you have just like it feels like the endless supply of sleeves and dice.
Yep.
And it's just like
card
all there.
games, sleeves, at least 4 cabinets of dice.
Mm-hmm.
We have role-playing games in the back, chess, traditional games. We have one of the largest selections in-store brick and mortar jigsaw puzzle collections on the West Coast. So, yeah, a little bit of everything for anybody.
Yeah, in fact, my wife loves coming here. Like normally when I go to like a GameStop, she stays in the car or she'll go someplace else. But when I come here, she loves walking around because she'll find like a puzzle or she'll find like we buy the little plushies or some big plushies or things to give to our kids. Like it's not just a game store. It feels like a modern adaptation of what Toys R Us tried to do back in the 80s.
Yeah, we definitely are the biggest thing that we still carry are board games. More than anything else, we have just aisles and aisles of board games. Things that are hard to find, things that are a little bit older. We usually have every expansion for every game we can, which is not something that every board game store can do. Not everyone has the kind of space that we do, and we like to take advantage of that. We like to provide people with different options, things that they otherwise would have to find online if their game store didn't carry it. But we also like to fill that space with other things, little hand puzzles, hand toys. We have blind boxes, keychains, patches, buttons, stickers, cards, really a little bit of everything.
One of the things that I also noticed when you come in, so you have all of those board games, and then suddenly you have just the miniatures. You know, Warhammer seems to be super huge. I mean, it's always huge everywhere, you know, but I feel like here it has its place, like it's engraved in it. So how's that going?
Yeah, well, our Warhammer community is fantastic. We every Sunday is pretty much open Warhammer play here, and we get anywhere from usually 20 to 25 people coming out, bringing their armies, and they're playing anything from 40K to Age of Sigmar, older editions, any kind of miniature war games. It's a really active and inviting community of people.
And that community and that Warhammer the amount of the quantity that you have and the way that you get the stuff, that also spawned Hobby Night, right? So and one of the people who came out of here, so they have if you ever want to see painted miniatures or that kind of stuff, you know, they just have it all, and that came out of here. This place I feel like it's just a different, unique, and amazing experience, which is why I wanted you to talk with me today, because I feel like people need to share the wins. And a lot of times, local game stores can be cliquey, or they can be where the place is just like, nope, I don't have it, or it's very it can be very basic. And your place is far from basic, and I really wanted to emphasize on that. And I know that with the pandemic, things had to change, and I feel like your website has evolved so much. So, and it's gamesofberkeley.com, right?
Yep, gamesofberkeley.com.
So can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely, yeah. We were a little bit ahead of the curve in setting up our website right before the pandemic hit, and we're very fortunate, obviously, that we did. It's become a really important part of our overall sort of sales strategy, but also integrating it into how we run events and putting up pre-registration on our website and things like that, but also using it as sort of not just like an e-com site, but a way to communicate with our community as well.
Interestingly enough, and I don't know if you intended it to be this way, but like I'm the kind of person where, you know, like I know about technology. So when I go to Best Buy, I already know what I want. Mm-hmm. So when I come here, I go to your website first. I look up the things that I want to get, and I'll see if you have it in stock. And I'll be like, and it'll say like you have 4 in stock, and I'll be like, okay. Or if it's like you have 1 in stock, and I know I'm going to come here on Friday, I'll buy it so that way when I get here, it's already waiting for me. Mm-hmm. But I use it so I never come here unless I've been online to look. Like this week, I'm trying hard to not get it because I don't get 2-player games very often. But I know you have a copy of That Time You Killed Me.
Yep.
And I know that because I use the websites. Like I use your website specifically as a way to figure out what I want to do before I get there. So I have a game plan, and then when I get here, I can add stuff to it. And I've never done that before. I've never, not even in GameStop, you know, back in the day, you just kind of go there. But it's just interesting that how your website, it's like when you're closed, I can just go there and my answers are all there.
Exactly, and I think that's a really great resource for people to have because they can do a little bit of the research ahead of time, come in, kind of know what they want, or at least know how we're going to organize our different aisles because we have them separated by section, like 2-player friendly games or cooperative games, Euro-inspired games, things like that. Yeah. And our website is a live, updated, accurate inventory of everything that you're going to find in the store, and we really do our best to try to make it as accurate as possible, correcting inventory mistakes here and there and things like that, and getting new releases up there as soon as possible. But that's not what most people do. Most people walk in off the street. They didn't know there was a game store here. We get a lot of foot traffic. And that goes back to what you were saying. You noticed, you know, usually we have 5 or 6 people out on the floor. that's because we love making recommendations too. People ask us, how do I choose from among the 5,000 different board games that you have right now? What's a good recommendation? It's me and one other person. We'll be like, absolutely. Let me show you some of our 2-player games or something like that.
And you'll also put a sticker on some of them sometimes if it's like a top pick of that.
Yeah.
And each employee has their own stuff, so you can kind of see who's in line with your gaming taste.
Exactly. We've definitely had customers come back who said, "Oh, I loved this recommendation by Angela. What are some other great games that Angela recommends?" Or we've sold games to people who go just on the recommendation of one person because their tastes align. So I think that's also really cool.
Well, I thank you so much for taking time out to talk to me today. We're about to open up and you guys are going to get to see all of the footage from the store and how amazing this place is. The website is gamesofberkeley.com. And do you ship everywhere?
Gamesofberkeley.com. We ship anywhere within the U.S.
Perfect. So, supporting your favorite local game shop, doesn't just mean the one that's 100 miles from your house. If you don't have a game store nearby, I promise you, when you buy at their website and you get it shipped to them, you're supporting an amazing establishment in this beautiful Northern California area known as Berkeley. So thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for everybody for listening. And don't forget, subscribe, like, and hit the little bell. Take care, everybody.